Hello everyone, good afternoon or good morning, whatever the time is. Good evening, whatever the time is, where you're watching on, when you're watching. Okay, so I'm back again with another video. First of all, I'd like to say thank you to everyone that left such wonderful and lovely comments on my two previous videos. I'm so appreciative. I didn't know you to get so much attention and so much likes and so much admiration. I am so grateful for that. Even though I received, I think 3 nasty messages from some people, but I deleted it immediately. I don't even want to give hate any chance or any space in my life, so I deleted such nasty comments. So which is why you will not be finding such comments on the page. But again, thank you so much for everyone that commented, that asked questions, that thanked me, and I think I got a comment yesterday. Someone, I guess the person is from Poland, and the person left such a very, very nice message. So thank you so much. I think it was Daniel or something. I will check and I would leave the person. No, I wouldn't leave the person details, but you know who you are. Thank you very much. And these videos that I make, actually, the objective is just to make people aware of what a beautiful country Poland is and how welcoming most of the people are here. So that's the objective of me making these videos. It is not to bash, or it is not to like put out there any negative image of the country. I mean, obviously I have to say the truth and say my experience, but I kind of look at myself like an ambassador, something like that, just to let people know. Because the thing is, I feel information is power, and there are lots of people in the world that are ignorant of some things they don't know. And so, because of this ignorance, they have this preconceived notion or this general stereotype about something. For instance, people that have never been to the States, or people that don't have any relationship with any American will think, oh, America is just all about guns. Everywhere, everybody carries a gun. People are killing each other. But when you go there, you actually see that, not really. You might live there all your life, and you might never have an experience with someone handling a gun. So the same way, I feel people have this kind of archaic notion or archaic mindset about Poland, thinking that Poland is full of barbarians and this place is so backward economically and whatever. But that notion is totally wrong. Poland is a westernized country, very developed. In my opinion, it is very, very developed. And there are no barbarians here. I mean, there are barbarians all over the world, so it's not as if there's a like a concentration of barbarians here. I mean, there and there you meet some nasty people, but majority majority of people here are nice, sweet, accommodating, and hospitable. Yeah, that's one thing about Polish people. They are very, very hospitable. Very hospitable. I go and visit a Polish friend, and the mom will want to feed me to death. Like, it's crazy. And I love food, so I'm not complaining. But yeah, people here are so hospitable, and most days, 100% of people I meet outside are nice to me. So the one, the other 1%, I meet them very rarely, and yeah, that's it. But yeah, that's just like a disclaimer. So today, I thought that because I'm a student, or I was a student, and my original purpose of coming to Poland was to study, so I thought maybe I would talk about the educational system, because since I've gone through it and it's kind of like a familiar topic to me, and I can talk vastly on such topic. So as usual, if you have any questions, leave them down below, and I'll try to answer them immediately. And also, if there are a lot of questions, then I'll make a different video answering those questions as usual. Okay, so first of all, I think I mentioned in my two previous videos that the educational system, the educational standard here is comparable to other Western countries. So it is comparable to schools in the US and Canada, in the UK, in Ireland, in Germany, wherever. Their standard, sorry, that's my phone. The standard here is pretty good, pretty solid. And so the diplomas or the certificates or the degrees you get from here is acceptable anywhere in the world, anywhere. Now, the thing is, as it is with different countries, some specialities or some specializations you would have to pass licensing exam in such in a country that you want to work in. For example, let's say you study medicine in US and you want to work in Canada, you will be obliged to write and pass the licensing exam for medical doctors in Canada. Or vice versa. Or for instance, if you study in I don't know, Australia, and you want to work in I don't know, Canada or US, you will be obliged to write and pass the licensing exam in such countries. So that applies to Poland also. So if you graduate from Poland and you go to another country and you're asked to write the licensing exam, that is pretty normal. It does not have to do with the standard of education. It's just the way things are. And same way in Poland, if you graduate from I don't know, from a country in the US, if you graduate from countries like the US or a country in the Middle East or a country from Asia, and you want to work in Poland, there are some specialization that have licensing exams that you will be required or obliged to pass, which is pretty standard. I'm not going to be going into these various kind of licensing exams. You can look them up on the internet if you're kind of interested, or if you're someone interested in immigrating to Poland and thinking or planning of working or something. So, what I can say about medicine, because I studied medicine, and so the licensing exam here is called Lekarska Egzamin Końcowy. I'm very sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrongly, but it's LEK. That's the abbreviated form. And so that exam, it's a licensing exam. It's licensing exam for unlimited license to be able to work and practice as a doctor in Poland. And this exam is a 200 question based exam. It's done twice a year, in February and in September. And the marks you get from that exam will kind of determine what department or what specialization you'll be allowed in, right? So specializations like dermatology, like neurosurgery, up to ophthalmology, those specializations, they pretty much require very high scores. Okay, so that's pretty much about it. I have a note here because I don't want to leave anything out. Now, in the university, the grading system is the grading system here is between a scale of 3 to 5. 5 being the highest mark, so 5 being equivalent of an A. So if you did very well, if you had above, I think 70 or 80%, then you have the mark 5 for your book in your kind of mark sheet. And 4 being B, 4 will be an equivalent of B, and 3 will be an equivalent of C. So C is the lowest for the passing grade, and if you get below 3, that's a fail, and you have to do the exam again. Now, concerning doing an exam, redoing an exam, you have 2 chances to retake an exam if you fail it. So after you fail, if you write an exam and you fail, you have 2 more chances. I think 1 or 2 more chances. And you have to pass this exam within these 2 chances. And if you don't pass the exam in these 2 chances, you have to face a board of examiners. Now, they call this the board exam. And in this board exam, there are 3 or 2 people in this panel. It's usually 1 person from the department, the dean of your faculty, and also the professor from the department you're teaching, or 1 other professor. And these 3 examiners would ask you questions, and that will determine if you pass this board exam or not. If you do not pass this board exam, I hope I hope anyone listening and anyone else would eventually pass such exam. But in an unfortunate situation where you do not pass that board exam, you'll be asked to repeat the semester or repeat the year, depending on what kind of course it is. So if it's a 2-semester course, you have to repeat the year. If it's a 1-semester course, you have to repeat the semester. And obviously you have to pay for this again. So which is why when you're in school, you really have to study hard so as to just pass it once and for all and forget about it. And also, one of the disadvantages of not passing your exam on the first trial is because if you do not pass it, you then have to worry about taking it again. And this might clash with other schoolwork that you have. And also, it might also interfere with your summer holiday. So usually schools resume on the 1st of October. And anyone that does not pass an exam from the previous semester will have to come to school almost a month early to do it again. you see that is really really inconvenient. Like you were thinking, oh, I don't have 3 full months of summer, so that person will have to come probably in September to write this exam. So I would suggest that, or advise that you study hard so as to pass the exam in the first trial, so that you don't have to come back early for the retake of the exam. All right. So I'm going to be talking, as I said, I studied medicine, and I'm going to be talking about medical course. Now, medicine lasts for, during my time, medicine lasted for 6 years, but now the law has changed, and now medicine lasts for 5 years plus 1 year of clinical attachment. That clinical attachment is kind of compulsory, but the difference between this new law and my old set is that for me, I still have to go for 1 extra year of clinical attachment, so which kind of makes medical school 7 years. But for this new law, it is just 6 years. So it is 5 years in school, then 1 year of clinical attachment, and it's so people that graduate from this new law will not have to go through the 1 year of house training. So once you graduate, you can just go straight into residency, which is perfect. I think it's really really good. So that's the new law now. And as I mentioned earlier, most of the specializations in schools have their own licensing exam. So for medical doctors, there is a licensing exam. For dentists, there's also a licensing exam. Now, to work as a professional with a public or government owned company or parastatal or firm, you need to be able to speak Polish, at least a B2, at least. So if you want to work for any public owned or government owned, like let's say you're a doctor, you want to work for the hospital, you need to be able to communicate and write Polish language, at least a B2. And if you're not an EU citizen, you will be asked to write and you'll be asked to write and pass a Polish language exam, and you have to pay for that, obviously. So that's one other thing. But as I mentioned in my 2 previous videos, it is definitely possible to learn the language. There are so many foreigners that speak and write the language very well. So do not be afraid, it is very, very, very possible. Even if it is difficult, according to the general knowledge or general mindset or opinion about it, it is still possible. Alright, most universities here offer courses and degree courses in foreign language. So most, like 98% of the universities here or higher institution offer courses in English. So I'm very very sure you would find an English course in a university here in Poland. And there are so many medical schools here in Poland that also offer medical degree in English. So finding a course in English language, it will not be a problem for you. And apart from English, I heard or I know of that there are some other universities that offer courses in French, in German and German language. So that's pretty good. And also it is possible for students to go for an exchange program, and this is called Erasmus. So when you are in university, if you want to, you have an option of taking a semester or 2 semesters off to study in a different university in a different country. So it is very, very, very possible. So for instance, if you are studying medicine or accounting or law in Poland and you want to take like a semester off and study in the UK or study in Spain or Italy or France or Germany or Norway, depending, you have that option of studying abroad. And the good thing is most of these other universities is free of charge, so you don't have to pay any extra fee. And I think the EU body also have like a scholarship program for students going on Erasmus, so you can apply for some kind of funding, something like that. So there are very very wonderful programs for students here that are available to students, foreigners and locals alike. All right, what else do I have? I think that's pretty much it. So yeah, I can't remember anything else, but if there was something I left out, I will put it down below, or you can go ahead and ask me any question. It's totally fine, and I will try to answer. I think I'm really, really good at my answering of questions. Immediately I say a question, I answer it immediately. So if you have any question, just ask me, and If you have any idea, if you want me to talk about something else, please let me know down below, and I'll try to make a video about it. The thing is, the problem with now is that the reason why I've not been uploading videos so regularly is because I'm preparing for my licensing exam, and it's in 3 days. Today is Wednesday, and the exam is on Saturday. So I'm pretty busy, but hopefully when I'm done, I will be able to make more videos out. All right, thank you very much for watching. Thank you. Good luck with everything you're doing, and I hope you're safe wherever you are, wherever in the world. Show someone some love today. And bye.